Live from the Orange Grove 55 studios, it's the Duck Pond. Today's topic is Disney's gaming era arrives. With new CEO, starring Mr. Seymour Duck, Orange Grove 55, and featuring Drew the Disney Dude. This is your destination for deep dive discussions, lively debates, and the freshest takes in what's floating in the news. From Asian cultures like K-pop and anime to straight up deep corporate talk and everything in between. And now here's your host, Mr. Seymour Duck.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to the flock. You have landed at the Duck Pond. I'm your host, the main mallard, Mr. Seymour Duck, and tonight we're looking at a massive collision of giants. It's the Disney and Epic Games $1.5 billion handshake. We're talking about the future of this universe and what it means from everything from your Fortnite locker to the Disney parks. To help us all break it down, we are going to be reacting to the Disney Dude's brand new video on the partnership to see exactly what's coming on the horizon. And I couldn't possibly scan the horizon alone. Joining me at the table today is a bird who needs no introduction, but I'm giving him one anyways. He's the face of Orange Grove 55, and let me tell you, his knowledge is so deep, it'll make your head duck, duck, dollar, dollar when he's waiting for the next Blackpink comeback, staying straight from the mainstream and showing us what he's got for that eye for talent. He's always making sure that our corporate takes are bibbity bobbity billabee, and he's the visual of the channel, the leader of the pond line, and he's the only duck I know who can hang out in a whole new world while perfectly reacting to a K-pop hit. Welcome to the flyest bird in the flock, OG55.
Hey, Seymour, that was a fantastic lead up. I appreciate you, brother. That was awesome. Seymour, this is going to be a great conversation. This whole gaming situation with Disney is crazy. Drew, the Disney Dude, big shout out to him. He's a friend of ours. We love Drew. He dropped an amazing video we're going to react to, but I'm really looking forward to it, Seymour. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, and before we ruffle some feathers and get into Drew's video, let the flock know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me right here, YouTube, right here on YouTube, Orange Grove 55. Also on X. I'm back on X. Also Orange Grove 55 and Instagram, Orange Grove 55.
Thank you. And but before we jump into the video that Drew the Disney Dude put together and give our live reaction, I just want to get the pulse of the room. When you hear the phrase Disney and Fortnite, what does that mean to you? Is it a dream come true for a fan, or is it a massive corporate cash grab, or is it a bit of both?
Yeah, no, I think when it comes to Disney and Fortnite, or just Disney and gaming in general, the gaming industry seems like a natural extension of that Disney flywheel, right? We have, and look, Walt Disney pioneered this stuff. Walt Disney pioneered the art of the flywheel. This man, he built Sleeping Beauty's castle at Disneyland, 4 years before the movie was even released. And he named it Sleeping Beauty's castle to promote the upcoming film, like 4 years later. So he was the king of this, right? And it really is a Disney tradition, right? This IP synergy machine. I mean, how do you have an IP flywheel without gaming in this day and age? Gaming is so huge. It's not even just the gaming, but the IP connected to the games now are even massive. You have, we talked about it before, Seymour, with Super Mario Brothers. I mean, that movie made over $1 billion. The next one will probably make even more, right? We got Zelda live action on the horizon. So there's a lot of these gaming IPs in and of themselves are massive. And so the gaming thing is something so big. With a company like Disney, how do you not get more serious about it? So for me, it makes perfect sense. But what say you, sir?
Yeah, I agree. It makes perfect sense, and it makes perfect sense why the rumors are saying that Josh is going to be the new CEO of Disney. Going forward, Disney needs to evolve as a company and putting gaming, and not just gaming itself, but gaming mechanics and the technology of gaming, like even for because Epic Games does Unreal Engine, just implementing it into the parks and everything around it, even for content curation as well. and replacing CGI. All of that can be implemented in, and with this partnership, I can see that happening. But yeah, Disney in gaming is crucial for the evolution of Disney, and I actually think this partnership will be a core future for Disney, where it'll increase their revenues significantly, and increase their margin of profitability to the point where it would be like an area where we have streaming, we have theme parks, and we also have Disney, like a metaverse type of area for Disney where you just go in and experience everything Disney. And I think to the point everything will collab into one, because Disney talked about, there was rumors, right? Even all the way back to Chapek, rumors of Disney implementing an Amazon Prime style service for Disney. And you can see remnants of this happening where they're changing their logins for Disney Plus to My Disney login. And now you have to enable it in Epic Games as well if you want free stuff from Disney. There's a lot of things happening in the background that I see that it could be that's what's going to be heading to the future, where it's not just a Disney Plus subscription service, it's a subscription for all things Disney. And I think that will be part of the subscription service. That could be in the video as well. I don't know. I have not seen the video. I wanted a real reaction to it, but that's what I see in the future for Disney. And you need a CEO like that that can do really well with IPs and experiences. And that's why I think Josh is also going to be the CEO for that company.
Yeah, no, and Josh, you're right. And Josh Giamara has come out. I forgot where it was, but they asked him a question about. They asked him and Dana. They asked them both a question about, like, what's your vision for Disney going forward, right? And Josh's answer was about gaming. Like, Josh is very bullish on this gaming industry in regards to Disney, right? And he is likely going to be the CEO. I mean, to keep it on theme here with the duck pond, you don't want to count your chickens before they're hatched. I understand that, but it definitely seems like he's the guy. Whether it's him alone or whether it's going to be him with like a co-CEO or something, but Josh is part of this equation, and he was very, very bullish just a couple months ago on this gaming thing. So, and plus here, the other thing too is Josh is a younger guy. He's not in his 70s. I think he's just in his 50s, if I'm not mistaken. He's a younger dude. He's going to have a much more, and I don't want to paint with too broad of a brush here, like young and old. I don't want to be too, like stereotypical, but usually younger folks are going to be a little bit more open to some big changes, right? Usually when you're younger, you have more of a thirst for that kind of thing. Usually as you get older, you're kind of more rooted in nostalgia and keeping things the way they are, right? Just the way people evolve as they age. Josh is a younger guy, and I can see him really shaking things up at Disney, and this is one way to do that. And I think it's a smart move. And Seymour, we were talking pre-show a little bit. You were saying, well, I think a lot of people are sort of underestimating Disney's gaming, what's the word, efforts, right? Because they've seen Disney fail in the past with this stuff. But this is different. They have the power of the Fortnite brand behind them now. The game has changed. This is not the same old gaming attempt, right? Go ahead, Seymour.
And the implementation is already there, right? I stated before in one of your videos that, I have Fortnite, and I don't usually buy things. The only reason I bought is because I won some V-Bucks from a friend on a Twitch stream. He had a contest, and I bought Elastic Girl. I bought a bunch of skins, and it's like, that's the only reason I use it. But the implementation is that they already have all these models already pre-made, right?
Wow.
All the Star Wars models, all the Marvel, right? All the Disney-esque. Even now, there was a rumor that Stitch is going to be in Fortnite now as one of your pets that you can bring in, because now they have sidekicks, which are like your pets, and you can have him. And the thing is, like, that's already implemented in. And if Disney wanted to, like, oh, let's make our own universe, Fortnite, we already got everything already made for you.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. So it's going to be, no pun intended, but it's going to be a game changer. And, we'll react to this Drew the Disney Dude video. He's going to break it down and dive into it. And so, like, Seymour, when it comes to the Drew video, same style, right? You want to just play it and we'll pause along the way and react to it? Is that the format? Okay.
Correct. But before we do, I just do want to state one thing. that in gaming, is the margins are much higher for profitability. They're better, but the cost is much less to make changes. And that's Nintendo does this as well, right? They're they make less games than a lot of the media stuff that Disney does, but the profits of it are much. They make more money out of it. It's just because it's more digital than media, and because of this, if Disney wanted to change things, because if you go trying to change a theme, an attraction at a theme park, that takes
Yeah.
time. That
Oh,
takes
yeah.
years. In a world like Fortnite, it could take days
Mhm.
for that
Right.
change to happen, right? If there's a new event coming in, right, they can announce it next week. They can announce it the week after and have it all done. It's that simple. And plus the integration already, like I mentioned, with Fortnite already with all the skins and everything, it's the margins will be there for Disney. For the shareholders will be happy, right? And the experience will be great for the Disney fandom because they don't have to wait, 7 to 10 years for something new to come and happen, right?
Well, yeah, I know exactly. Building physical places, physical attractions, physical things is going to take years and years to do that, right? Where you have a new Fortnite thing, you can knock that out a lot faster. And the interesting thing about Fortnite as well is it is, and we've talked about this a lot before together on the channel, Seymour, but like it is sort of that bridge between the studio and the theme park side of things, right? Like it's not a physical place. There's storytelling involved and all that stuff, right? So it's definitely like a studio, like entertainment, but at the same time, it is sort of like a theme park thing too, though. Like you were saying, because you're exploring worlds, you're interacting with things. So
I
it's that
agree.
hybrid, right?
Yeah, it's the middle ground. Someone who wants much more than just the media side, but can't afford or can't go to a theme park, right? They want something to experience Disney more, and I think that's the great thing about this.
Yeah. No, I agree. And you have a lot of people who are not, a lot of people don't have access to a Disney theme park. It's not, Disney isn't like, like some of these other chains like Cedar Fair and stuff that where there's like a park in every single state, basically. There's only well, in the US, there's only two Disney parks. So if you live in Ohio or Montana, it's a trip for sure. And so a lot of people, a lot of kids, they love that Disney stuff, but that maybe their family can't afford to go to a theme park, Disney theme park. Well, now they can experience, this kind of theme park,
And
interaction at home. And that's cool.
I can give you an example of that just recently happened. Fortnite had a special event for The Simpsons, right? And it felt like having an experience of going to the Simpsons world, experiencing everything, all things Simpsons, and then Disney able to have that cash grab for a lot of those microtransactions for skins,
Yeah.
but everyone else who played it, right? It was like one of the biggest like Fortnite events ever, and it
Wow.
made a big publicity for Disney. Uh, it basically advertised The Simpsons back, and it basically jumpstart The Simpsons again to be relevant because before it haven't been so much relevant since like the 90s, right? And
Right.
now you push that back up. It's like that didn't cost a lot of money to do. Imagine when Universal had to do their theme park for The Simpsons, right? And they haven't done anything new on there for years, and now that's going to come down for rumors of like Pokemon or Luigi's Mansion coming in, or Zelda. Um, Now, right? Yeah, you missed out on that. But when you put that in the digital world, it's instantaneously, and the reaction from people is live, and you get
Yes.
everyone else to come in. You get everyone from the gaming side, the Disney side, even like in little niche areas where like the Simpsons fans come in and wanna play. It was a viral hit. There was
Yeah.
millions of people playing it to the point where the servers were crashing because nobody can get in.
Oh my gosh. Well, and this is the thing too, right? Seymour, I'm glad you brought that up with the Simpsons and gaining relevance again through Fortnite and what have you. I've said this a lot with Disney. A lot of Disney fans are stuck in the past. I'm going to just say it. They are. A lot of Disney fans get real stuck in the past. They get real stuck in the nostalgia. Now, that stuff isn't important. I'm not saying nostalgia or the past isn't important. It is. But equally and maybe even more important though is how this company moves forward, because you don't want to end up like, like a Popeye or something, or like a Betty Boop where you're irrelevant, you know? You want to keep these characters, these Disney characters relevant for years and years and years to come. Now the flywheel helps with that, but what also helps with that is letting your company evolve with the times. You know, the Walt Disney Productions of the 70s would not do well today. You know, I mean, it barely did well in the 70s, but I mean, but it wouldn't do well today. We live in a new world, and Disney has to adapt to that new world, right? I recently actually did a bar chat with our good friend Alan from Almighty Coasters. It'll be up in a couple of days, but we talked about alcohol at the Disney parks, and we talked about how, yeah, Walt Disney didn't want alcohol in 1955 at Disneyland, but now Disney does have alcohol. They do serve it. But see, this is the thing. It's like culture change, though, right? That the stigma, the optics of alcohol was different in Walt's day. Walt was trying to separate Disneyland from like the Coney Islands. So the alcohol thing was like, for him, it felt like it was important to not have that because it was so connected to that Coney Island experience, and it got kind of rowdy over there with the alcohol and all that stuff. But in this new day and age, alcohol is seen much more acceptable or much more like mainstream or social or whatever. And so, and Disney does a good job, and Universal too. I will give Universal credit. Both of these theme park companies do a great job managing people drinking at the parks. Yes, there will be an instance here or there of a drunk person doing crazy stuff, but those instances are farther and fewer between, right? But anyway, my overall point is Disney evolved with the times in regards to alcohol. Even smoking. I mean, Walt Disney allowed smoking at Disneyland when it opened in 1955. His construction teams they all had cigarettes in their mouth when they were pounding nails into the walls and stuff. Now you can't smoke anywhere at Disneyland. That's a cultural shift. That's the times changing. That's Disney evolving with what culture finds acceptable or unacceptable. These things are constantly moving, and if Disney is bogged down in like 1955 mode forever, it won't survive. It just will not survive. So things like Fortnite, the gaming, all that stuff, that's the future. Even AI to some degree is the future. Disney has to learn where they can fit in with this stuff if they want to remain relevant, for years and decades to come. So, we'll see. But should we break down this Drew the Disney Do video, Seymour?
Yeah, and one more thing, a fun fact, because you mentioned Popeye, and I just wanted to mention it. You mentioned Popeye. The Popeye is the reason why Mario even exists today. Miyamoto was building cabinets, and his idea was to have Popeye, but they didn't give him the license to do it. So instead, they created Donkey Kong that introduced Mario. And then that was such a huge hit that the company that owns Popeye, like, oh no, you can do a Popeye game, and that wasn't a huge hit.
Oh, okay. I think I had that Popeye game actually. Now that I can see it in my head, it was for Nintendo, right?
No, this is way before where the arcade in the cabinets. This is pre-Nintendo systems.
Okay.
Yeah, this is like the original Donkey Kong, where you have to jump the barrels and go and capture the girl. Save the girl from Donkey Kong, and you're Mario. But he wasn't even named Mario. He was just named Jumpman at the time. But that's what brought Mario into the universe, because Popeye didn't want to work with Nintendo at the time. But then when Nintendo became so successful because of that, like, oh no, we can do one. We want to do a licensing deal with you. But by then it's already too late. And then Miyamoto became a hit. And now, the history has been made with Mario, Zelda, and all the Nintendo IPs.
One of these days, Seymour, I want to do a video with you about the Mario lore, so to speak, because Mario is a weird franchise. If you really look at it, with the giant pipes, even Yoshi, the dinosaur, you have a plumber riding a dinosaur. It's crazy to me, right? And then he's eating mushrooms and getting bigger and smaller. There's so much weird stuff with Mario. Such a weird franchise. We'll have to do a video on that because I'm super curious how a lot of that stuff came about.
The lore is very weird. Like, if you want to actually, even the storyline, like the Donkey Kong game I just mentioned, that's not even the Donkey Kong we know now. That's Donkey Kong grandfather, and that's not Mario. That's Mario's father. But then because gorillas, they age faster than humans. That's why that's the grandfather, and that's only the father of Mario. Yet we don't know that's actually happened. It's very complex. The lore is very complex, but it should be fun. Yeah, we should do one. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm so down for that because I have so many. I've had these questions in my head for years, and I would love to just sit down and break that stuff down with you because the Mario stuff is bizarre. And I was even thinking about it the other day when we did our video with Lucas, where when we reacted to the Mario Galaxy trailer. And it is so bizarre. You have two plumbers shooting fireballs, and they find a little dinosaur. It's the craziest concepts, but we'll do it for sure. But all right, well, we'll take it away. This is Drew the Disney Dude. Everybody at home, if you are not subscribed to Drew the Disney Dude, make sure you subscribe to him. I'll be linking his stuff down below. Drew is not only a great content creator, he's a great friend. We love Drew. Support him. Show him all the love. This is a banger video. You ready, Seymour?
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
How much money Disney is investing into Epic Games, the creator of Fortnite. But how did we get here and where are we headed? Well, that's what I want to talk about today. What's up, YouTube? Drew here. Welcome to my favorite video I have ever done on my channel, a video nearly 8 years in the making, a deep dive into Disney times Epic Games, and why I believe it's going to change the attractions and video game industry as we know it. With that being said, let's get to it. I'm thrilled to finally be talking about this project because for those of you who don't know me, Disney and Fortnite are my main two passions in life. I actually started playing Fortnite in May of 2018, Chapter 1, Season 4, because the graphics, the characters, the environment, the storyline, it reminded me of Disney. That's what got me to play the game, and I haven't stopped since. I've played every...
Do you play Fortnite?
I do not, no. No, I don't play. It's funny because when I was a kid, I gamed all the time. I mean, I lived on my Nintendo, my Super Nintendo, my Genesis. I lived on these platforms. Once like the PlayStation era came around, I was more into like online stuff, like AOL chat rooms and hanging out with the friends on Instant Messenger. So I kind of fell off the gaming train. But go ahead, Seymour. He was saying that that Fortnite kind of reminded him of Disney, like that storytelling.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say, I've been playing Fortnite lately too. It's weird though because it's like I became an adult and I don't have time to game as much as I want to. But then when the Simpsons thing came out, it made me want to play more. And then now they have a South Park event is happening as well, and they have people from K-pop Demon Hunters, and then they have new skins from The Office, which is very weird. They have Dwight and.
Hey, I appreciate them thinking outside the box, though. I mean, again, that's pretty cool, That's pretty cool. It's weird, but cool.
Yeah, it's weird because now I have a universe where we have people from The Office, K-pop Demon Hunters, The Simpsons, and Family Guy all together. Huh?
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
Every single week for nearly 8 years. I don't know if I should be proud of that or sad about it, but hey, it's led me to now in this YouTube video where I am going to be your main source for Disney times Fortnite going forward. I firmly believe I can talk about this project better than anyone because I have such a deep passion and knowledge for both Disney parks, Disney as a whole, and Fortnite and everything that's coming down the road later this year. So please subscribe here if you haven't already. This is part 1 of a 2-part series talking about everything we know so far. I'll be your guy, so subscribe. And with that being said, let's dive into all of these details. And speaking of May 2018, that's where the story of this video begins. Well, the $1.5 billion partnership between Disney and Epic was announced in February of 2024 without the 5.5-hour-long phone call between Donald Mustard, the former chief creative officer of Epic Games, and the Russo brothers. Well, we don't have this investment. The snowball never starts to turn into an avalanche. Long story short, the Russo brothers wanted Thanos in Fortnite. Donald Mustard rejected it at first. He was very hesitant of it, which is hilarious to think about because I feel like the general person, when they think about Fortnite, it's just every single collab, IP, and character that's ever been popular somehow makes it into Fortnite. So to think that when the game first was starting out, they didn't want that, it's like, what do you mean? That's the entire purpose of the game today. And Donald recently retired from Epic, which I'm still sad about. I loved his personality, his cryptic tweets, the storyline. What I do think is cool is that he's actually working with Agbo now, the Russo brothers production company, on Avengers Doomsday. So the amount of full circle moments between all of this is, again, surreal to me. But this video is coming out before Avengers Doomsday, but just knowing that Fortnite's projection and its path began because of Thanos, and now we're headed to the biggest Avengers movie yet with those three working together again. Wow. But now we're going to talk about the 1.5 billion. That's the true meat and potatoes.
I do
where
wanna
we're
say-
headed, because it's big, and I even think big is an understatement.
Because he's mentioning that Disney bought 1.5 billion, but
Right.
that's 1.5 billion of additional cash into Epic. They own around 9% of Epic right now,
Wow.
more than
Wow.
Sony. Sony owns 5.4%, and then you have the Chinese company Tencent that owns 35%, and then you have the founder Tim Sweeney that owns 41.4%. So it's never going to be it's a private company, so it's never going to be sold to anyone else because he owns majority of the shares. But
Right.
yeah, Disney owns 9%, which is a huge chunk.
No, it is. And Josh Diamaro, he is the president of the experiences and products division. This falls under his purview. So this is a massive. Now, obviously, Josh would need, for a huge thing like this, would need the board to be on board with the. It couldn't be. It's not just all Josh. I mean, obviously, the Disney board, when you're spending billions, they're definitely involved too. But it says a lot, though, that Josh's division is this aggressive into this gaming stuff, and it really does give us a window into what kind of CEO Josh is going to be. So it's fascinating stuff. It really is.
Quite honestly. In February 2024, the official announcement of this partnership came from Disney on their Q1 earnings call. And I also think something that has not been talked about at all is the fact that Disney CEO Bob Iger also announced it on live television with CNBC so that the world and all of the stock reports, Wall Street, knew about it, right? Obviously, the $1.5 billion speaks for itself and is an impact to Disney's stock number at the time, but Bob Iger called this transformative. I think that is worth mentioning because that's the man who figured out the deal, the actual paperwork, but him also kind of knowing the direction they're headed in with the games and entertainment universe, the true anchor of this partnership, where Fortnite players are going to be able to go into this separate world. It's connected to Fortnite, but you're going to launch it completely separately. It's kind of its own game. It's going to stand on its own. You're going to be able to play, watch, shop, create everything under the world of Disney, from the Disney characters like Mickey Mouse and Friends to Star Wars, Marvel, The Simpsons, everything, Avatar, 20th Century Studios.
Now, let me ask you a question. This is a great video, by the way. I love this stuff. I want to ask you a question, Seymour, because like I said, I haven't been into the gaming thing for a very long time, long before Fortnite came around. Is there a reason why it's like its own separate world from the main Fortnite? Is it because of the family-friendly element of the Disney overall brand, and they want to kind of have a little bit more control over that element of it, or was it for some other reason, in your opinion?
Well, Fortnite is very strange because at first it was just a game where you just shoot. Now it's like a game where you can actually customize your own levels and make your own games. And they have partnered with other companies as well, like Lego, and you can have there's a separate app for it for Lego that you can download and play, and then there's like a Rock Band version of it as well, where you can play Rock Band in Fortnite. There's a separate app as that, but it really just launches the game and then opens that world up. So I could see that happening for Disney as well, where it's like, okay, you can download the game separately and open it, but it could still probably be launched within Fortnite itself if needed to. It's just that Fortnite is a game. I think it's completely different, like worlds, because Fortnite's
Okay.
shooting, right? Whereas Disney, this would be like a meta type first experience where you experience anything Disney, depending on the attractions and stuff that they provide in there. It could be Star Wars, could be Marvel, anything, even The Simpsons, right?
Yeah.
There's even rumors of them, having a movie theater experience that if you, subscribe to Disney Plus, you can go in there and watch it with a friend and watch a movie digitally, because we
Dude,
can't
that's
do that.
insane.
We can't do that right now with Disney Plus, right?
No.
We have to like makeshift. We have to have some type of weird experience where you go on Discord or have or like use a different. There's an add-on that you can download, a Chrome extension, where you can share your screens. Weird things that you have to do. But if you and your friend owns a subscription, it possibly could be where you can have a shared experience of watching a TV show or a movie.
Wow, man. And that's why Bob Iger, Tomorrow, Disney in general, they're very bullish on this, because it opens up all kinds of stuff for Disney. It's crazy, right? I mean, you can watch the movies from the inside this thing. You can do all kinds of stuff. So it's going to be like the title of Drew's video said, it's going to change everything. It's a game changer.
Well, we don't have all of these specifics yet. That initial announcement actually holds a lot of the DNA with what is coming, where the predictions I'll be talking about later come into play. But from May 2018 to September of 2024, the first domino to the avalanche to the details we have now. In August of 2024 at D23, the Ultimate Disney Fan Event, this is where my eyes opened even more and my expectations went up, because the indirect decision that Disney made said a lot. And that's what I want to talk about. So at the Disney Experiences Showcase, that was a 2-hour-long presentation about the future of Disney parks, Disney Cruise Line, and everything under the Disney Experiences catalog, including Disney Consumer Products, which is the video games side. That's where this investment falls under, Disney Consumer Products. But Disney brought out on stage the leaders from across the Walt Disney Company to talk about this.
I understand.
Disney.
You were at that D23, right?
I was in that at the Honda Center for this presentation. Like, I was there. So
For
the experiences, the parks panel, the experiences panel. Yeah, perfect. I was there.
So you saw when they were talking about Fortnite.
Oh yeah,
for a short bit.
Yes. And a lot of park fans were disappointed about that. And I talked to Drew about this actually when he was on OG55 a couple weeks ago. A lot of park fans were like upset about that, because they don't see it as important, or they don't see it as like, it's not the theme parks, who cares? But I think a lot of fans are missing the point with this stuff. Like, this is so big. But go ahead, Seymour. I do apologize.
I was gonna say, I remember this event because Fortnite launched an event to watch the D23 specifically for that portion of the video live, and I was there with a few friends, and we were just waiting for it to go live, and over 2 million people were watching live. It's like,
what?
Most of them are not hardcore Disney fans. They're not there, right? They're not the ones who go into the D23. They were just there because it was easy. You can access it from Fortnite, and it was an event. And like, well, more Disney. Let's see. And yeah, it was over 2 million. And I think it also crashed servers as well. It was a very weird experience, because I was expecting all of D23 for the like parks and experience event, but it was only for that Fortnite one. But that one portion when they mentioned, we're bringing Elastic Girl to to Fortnite, and they were talking about how more IPs are coming to Fortnite. I remember that.
Yeah, they were giving us a little wink and a nod back then, for sure.
Times Fortnite. I say that because when it comes to the Disney parks, that's where a lot of the focus falls. When it comes to Disney Cruise Line, again, a lot of the focus is on new ships in development right now. But none of these leaders were on stage for those. It was only for Disney times Fortnite. So that was Disney's way of saying, this is our big project. We want you to look at this, because all of our leaders from across the company are here. Jennifer Lee, Kevin Feige, Dave Filoni, Pete Docter, and Josh D'Amaro. 5 of the biggest people at the company, again, talking about Disney times Fortnite. Also worth mentioning that inside of Fortnite live, they were both happening at the same time.
Yeah,
you could log into Fortnite and watch that presentation.
So that was what you were watching with your buddies?
Correct, yes.
Okay, and you were in that little digital stadium while watching it. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. I was live with a friend who streams on Twitch, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll join you with that." And it was a fun experience. I was a banana that looks like it came from the 1930s.
I love I love it. Only Seymour, man. And I love how you do that 30s stuff, like with your graphics and everything. Really, really cool. With the pie eyes and all that. I love that style.
Happening at the same time, you could log into Fortnite and watch that presentation. Over 1 million players were watching the showcase in Fortnite, and only 11,000 were there in person.
Right now, Fortnite players from around the world are watching our show from inside the game. The folks backstage just told me there are more than 1 million people watching right now.
And that's something that I will keep coming back to again and again. The power of a digital world opens up the door to expand Disney's reach so many kids and Fortnite players around the world for free, to where a player can go on the game and learn about these franchises and characters. Whereas in person, you have to pay for a ticket, hotel, airfare. It's a lot more restricting. But you open up the door to endless possibilities through digital. And that was proven by the 1 million players watching that stream. Josh D'Amaro announced it on stage to the audience.
Now, this is great. We talked a little bit about this earlier on in this show, but he's absolutely correct. Disney is very, very selective when it comes to new parks that they build, right? They just announced Abu Dhabi, but a new Disney park is a pretty rare event. It's not a very common thing, right? These things are around the world, but not everyone is close enough or has the means to go to these things, right? Like I said before, like if you live in Montana, that's going to be a trip for you to come all the way down to California or to go to Florida or wherever. You know, it's not always accessible to kids in certain areas of the world or even areas of the US. This brings that kind of theme park experience to everybody. Now, it's digital, it's not a physical place, but I mean, that's okay, you know, but it also strengthens the Disney brand, because like Drew was just saying, he's 1,000% correct. What that does is it strengthens your brand, because now more people are able to experience these IPs, these characters and what have you. And then they grow nostalgic for them and share that with their kids. And you know what I'm saying? This is like the brand building sort of endeavor. So
Yep.
Very brilliant. Go ahead, Seymour, before we continue with the video. Any thoughts on that?
No, I think this is why it'll be very important for Disney's future and in growth and profitability, because those type of numbers is what companies, strive for.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
This also came with other announcements that were significant for Fortnite: the Absolute Doom season, a Marvel-themed season inside of Fortnite, new Star Wars content and cosmetics in the game, the first Disney villains, Disney animation characters, The Incredibles, the first Pixar characters. It was a turn. It was a shift in Disney saying, this is where we're headed. Let's not only talk about this to our biggest fans, paying to be in the room with us, but really saying, hey, Fortnite fans, gamers, look what we're doing. This is the appetizer of what's to come. So I think that at D23 this year, in 2026, we are going to see double and triple the amount of Disney times Fortnite, not only at the Disney Experiences Showcase coming up, but I'm predicting here right now, we are going to have a Fortnite pavilion on the show floor at the Anaheim Convention Center, really revealing what they've been working on for the first time. I think that's where these reveals are going to begin. And then later throughout the year, after August of 2026, we're going to see more be revealed and more be revealed until the actual mode and universe launches, hopefully by the holiday season this year in 20.
And that's the thing that a lot of fans need to get used to, in that Fortnite is here and it's going to be a big part of the Disney thing going forward. So this isn't going to be like an extra, like a little side quest, so to speak. This is going to be one of the big things that, Disney trots out at these expos. They're going to talk about their theme parks. They're going to talk about their cruise lines, and they're going to talk about gaming in Fortnite. It's going to be one more arm of this Disney machine, and it's going to be a huge arm of that machine. So, I mean, fans are going to have to understand that this is the this is the new Disney, you know. So we'll see.
Plus,
26.
I do want to say one thing.
month later,
Sure.
You're not forced to do any of this. That's the thing, right?
Exactly. No, it's exactly it, right?
If you're if you're a fan of the parks, then you can still go to the parks. Nobody's forcing you to play any of this.
100%. Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely correct. And unfortunately, I think fans feel like it's like, oh, well, if they're paying attention, if they're focusing on this, they're focusing less on the other thing. And I don't believe in that. I think that Disney can walk and chew gum at the same time. They've proven it over and over and over again.
And
So yeah,
and yes, and if this becomes a success, it will help. They have a flywheel. It will help all the other businesses. So if this becomes successful, where cash flows are coming in and not more dependent on the parks, they can take that cash and invest it back into the parks. So it's a win-win.
yeah, no, 100%. And it also pandemic proofs you. And I know that we don't, I know that a pandemic doesn't come around very often, thankfully, but we just had a pandemic. What was it now? 6 years ago, right? 2020, 6 years ago. The company was, honestly, if it wasn't for Disney Plus, that streaming service, Disney would have been way worse than it fared during that pandemic. But when you lay the foundation in this digital world, you kind of disaster proof your company a little bit, right? Where it's like, okay, if we do have another thing where the parks have to shut down, now you have the parks digitally. You're still getting revenue, you're still getting money coming in to this division now, even if the physical places can't operate for a time being. So you're right, Seymour. It helps the theme parks in ways a lot of fans don't even realize, right? So great point.
at the Inbound Marketing and Sales Conference, again, Josh tomorrow. What was he talking about? I'm sure you can guess by now. Disney times Fortnite. I do mention this though because some of you might be thinking, well, what's the big deal about talking about it in front of a big audience? Of course they're going to do that. But it wasn't Disney fans. I'm assuming that the majority of the audience at a general marketing and sales conference is not in tune with what Disney is doing. The fact that Josh highlighted this, talking about this being Disney's next major step,
Yes.
I was like, wow, like this is a 100-plus-year-old company, and the chairman of Disney Experiences is talking about this to a general audience. He is saying this is where we are headed. You guys want to be involved with this. When I look at Disney, they have some major milestones in the company's history, from where Walt Disney went with films and feature animation to opening Disneyland. Well, when the current leader of that division is saying that your digital world with Fortnite is your next major step, he is saying exactly what people should be talking about, but no one's talking about it. So I want you all to watch this clip, hear him say it, and then keep that in your mind as we talk about the rest of this video.
Just as Walt took us from the silver screen to the small screen to the theme parks, this is our next major evolution. Epic Games is the creator of Fortnite, which is one of the most popular video games of all time. Now, if you don't play it and you have kids, I know that your kids are playing. Working with Epic Games, we're taking everything that we've learned about storytelling over the course of 100 years now, everything that I've been talking about today, and then we're pouring it into this new universe. We're inviting our fans to a place where their favorite Disney characters and stories and worlds, they all converge into one place, a place where they can watch, where they can play, they can even create their own Disney stories in ways that they have never dreamed of before. We're turning everything that our fans love about Disney into a digital playground, and they can be there 365 days a year. Now, of course, this is going to challenge us. We'll have to approach our storytelling in brand new ways, which means that we'll be applying all these principles to ensure this dynamic new universe exceeds our fans' wildest expectations.
That clip right there is a big part of why I'm making this video, but that takes us to March of 2025.
I want to say
another
something.
big technology
He felt very CEO-like there.
Oh, he absolutely did. And that's the way that
It felt like an Apple event where he's like, this is our next baby. Get excited for it. You will be excited for it. And it's going to be huge.
Well said, Seymour. And you're right. And it's funny that you say that because I was thinking the exact same thing. Josh D'Amaro, look, I've been critical of him in the past, and I still don't love everything he's done. You know, I do have my critiques, and I'm very open about that. But one of the things that Demaro excels at is public speaking and connecting with people. I've talked to many friends and stuff who have met Josh Demaro in person, like in our theme park community. A good friend Mondo. I was just talking to him today about it. Actually, he met Josh and said, you know, the dude is really, like, when you meet him, he really connects. He listens to you. He comes off very down to earth. Our good friend Jared, Capture the Magic, has met him. Said the same thing. Like Josh knows how. He's a people person, and it's not something that this isn't something that you can learn. Like, some people are this and some people aren't. Some people have that people thing, that charisma. Some people don't. Chapek will never be this guy. He can go to 1,000 different classes and try to learn it. It's never gonna work out like it is when that's just your personality. This guy knows how to do it, you know? He's also very smart. I gotta say, look, I'm very impressed because going into the CEO succession race, it was not his to lose. I mean, there was still a bad taste in the investor, community with a theme park person running Disney. There was still a bad taste in their mouths with that. And Dana Walden was very much the favorite, you know, and, you know, she was going into this, it was as hers to lose. She was the rock star. And over the course of them, over month after month after month after month, Josh just continued to just outmaneuver Dana Walden in this race. Now, again, I'm not trying to crap on Dana Walden, because I've always said I'm a fan of Dana. I think Dana is a brilliant executive. I think that she gets an unfair rap from a lot of people, the anti-woke crowd. I think a lot of them unfairly paint her as somebody that can't work with conservatives, or that will be the stuff that she does will be super agenda driven. I reject that notion just because she worked with Rupert Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch is not a massive progressive. Last time I checked, he's very conservative. He owned Fox News Channel. I mean, come on, you know, and she was able to work with him very successfully, and he loved working with her. So she's a brilliant mind. I just think when it came to the CEO race, I think Josh checks more boxes where he knows how to navigate the corporate waters, and he's got the front-facing charisma to kind of facilitate all that stuff. And I think it's a great combination. Now, again, I do want to say Josh has done things that I don't agree with. I do think there are some things like that he's dropped the ball. And that's going to be with anybody. I can look, my favorite director of all time, Jon Favreau, I love him. I love his work. But he did the Lion King live action movie. Okay. Everyone has a bad day at the office, right? Everybody has a thing on their resume that's not great. Josh included. Every single person. Michael Eisner, Disney legend, has stuff on his resume, his tenure at Disney that's not perfect. Josh is not perfect. He has not been perfect, but he's a savvy executive. He knows how to navigate the corporate waters, the business waters, and he has a social intelligence. I'm telling you, people underestimate social intelligence in the business world, or even in this content creation space. A lot of success in this world comes from that social intelligence, networking, knowing how to talk to people. It gets you a long way. It really does. And Josh has that big time. So it's very interesting.
That clip right there is a big part of why I'm making this video. But that takes us to March of 2025, another big technology conference, South by Southwest in Texas. Well, what was talked about at South by Southwest, that's actually going to be in part 2 of this video. I'm making an entire video dedicated to that one presentation. That's how big it is. So again, subscribe here if you haven't already. But the one thing I will talk about that came out of South by Southwest, again, it's not in writing, it's not being said out loud, but it's being shown visually. And Disney had a graphic on screen kind of highlighting what they're doing. A lot of these things, again, are Disney parks and Disney Cruise Line. But what is at the center of the photo? Disney times Fortnite. They are saying that the biggest thing that they are doing right now is bigger than the investment in the Disney parks around the world. Disney times Fortnite. The center of the image. Again, I think that that's worth noting. Someone put time into that graphic. the decision was made to put it at the center. So I'll be talking about all of the other things in February.
And nothing at Disney is a mistake or happenstance. Like when he brings that up, he's absolutely right about that, right? The graphics, where they place things. I know a lot of people think that's just like semantics or like, it's not. I mean, these things are very carefully crafted. I mean, even like car companies, right? When you watch a car commercial, the age of the people sitting in the car, the gender, all this stuff is carefully crafted and managed to sell you something or to sell a demographic, a certain thing, right? It's not by accident. It's not by accident that the person sitting in the Honda Civic commercial, driving the vehicle, is a 25-year-old, male, and these are decisions made on purpose, right? And same with Disney with these graphics. These are not coincidences. When he says, the graphic is bigger than the rest of it, there's a reason for that. That's not just by chance.
February, I had to mention that. Lines up exactly with everything else that had happened up until that point. A couple days later, an article came out from Bloomberg, and I'm sure you all know where I'm heading by now. Guess the title of this article. Disney's parks chief sees Fortnite as key to its future. This article actually confirmed that Josh D'Amaro had joined Epic Games' board of directors, overseeing this project. And the title of that article, it's like, again, it's being put in front of our eyes. No one's talking about it. I just think it's crazy how the biggest project in Disney's pipeline in the last, as long as I can remember, has been being teased again and again in front of our eyes for 2 years at the time of me posting this video.
And this is why Drew is amazing. And he's absolutely right. There's not a lot of people talking about this, right? Especially in our theme park community, right? And with the theme park community, and I love my theme park people. I do. I'm a theme park guy. I am a theme park guy. I love the Disney theme parks, but I think all too often, and to our own detriment as a community, I think people kind of get into this tunnel vision of like, only the parks matter. I'm not going to really care what's going on with the studio. I'm not really going to care what's going on with the movies. I'm not going to. And I think that if you're a Disney fan, I think it's really, really, a really good idea to pay attention to all this stuff. Because what Drew is saying here is right with Fortnite. This impacts everything, right? Everything.
Yes.
So it's important to look at all this stuff as a Disney fan, and you can better assess what's really going on. I think too many park fans get stuck with the tunnel vision. Now, again, I'm not telling people what to do or anything like that. I'm just saying, if you want a better, more clear picture of Disney as a whole, or Disney with the direction of what they want to do and things like that, you have to look at this other stuff. Like, Disney is so much more than the theme parks. It really is. So, and Fortnite is a big part of that now. So,
and not many people are talking about it. Again, an article from Bloomberg, one of the highest executives at the Walt Disney Company, probably even the next CEO, saying Fortnite is a key to this company's future. Enough said. May 2025, another big milestone.
I do agree. It is key to the company's future. When I used to own Disney shares, my biggest investment thesis was Epic and Disney, and how it would bring people into the Disney universe that's not, within the Disney community, and when an example, right, over 1 million people. I think I saw 2 million. I think I screenshotted it and posted it on X. I think that was the peak. People who are not familiar with Disney or are not integrated with the Disney community went in and saw everything about, all the things that are happening Disney related for Fortnite, and you grab those people in. For shareholders. That is really good. You're expanding your reach for Disney, and plus, like we mentioned before, nobody's forcing you to play this. If you just want to stay at the parks, you can go to the parks.
Thank you. No, exactly. If that's what park. If you just want to do the park thing, that's fine, and yeah, no one's forcing anyone to play it, but yeah, it's a huge it's the elephant in the room at this point. And the other thing too, before I continue with the video, that I found very interesting was that article. We're seeing a lot of instances where Josh D'Amaro was talking about the future of Disney. That right there is obviously he's talking about. Obviously he's really he's saying that Disney's going to be aggressive in Fortnite, and that's true. What's also true, though, I think, is that the fact that he's even talking about the future of the company overall tells you that it looks like he's been the guy for a little while. I think that he's behaving and speaking like he's already running the entire thing. Now, hey, look, maybe that was part of his strategy, right? Maybe it was a part of a strategy to sort of come off very CEO-ish. And so you do that by kind of like, not just focusing on your, necessarily like theme parks, but you also dip into gaming, and you also talk about the future of the company overall. It kind of sets the optics out there that like this guy is CEO material. I think you mentioned that too before, Seymour, in the past, but the fact that he's talking about the company as a whole says a lot too. So
for Disney times Fortnite, Star Wars Galactic Battle. This was a month-long mini-season in the game where Star Wars was front and center the entire time. It ended with a massive Death Star live event, which I think is significant because it really shows the level of money that was being spent from Disney's end, but also the attention to detail and quality from Epic's developers and art team. They nailed it on that side. Everything was spot on, but it wasn't my favorite. But I still like that it happened because I think it was a perfect test for the presence of Disney that prominently, and also the fact that Star Wars is going to be a persistent presence once the games and entertainment universe launches. In the concept art, again, it's a very early piece of concept art from February of 2024, but you can clearly see Star Wars will be here. And Galactic Battle is not a coincidence by any means. They didn't do this for fun. They did it because they could get away with it before all of the bigger things launch down the road. See how players react to it, learn on their end, and then improve it for the future, which is coming very soon. In May 2025, one of the biggest announcements in Disney's history, a 7th Disney resort with a theme park coming to Abu Dhabi, Yas Island to be exact. This one came out of nowhere, and I didn't think anything of it until CNN did an interview with Josh D'Amaro again, the leader of Disney Experiences. In that interview, one of the most significant quotes he's ever said happened. He basically said that a Disneyland theme park inside of Fortnite is possible, and also the fact that with this new Disney park coming to Abu Dhabi in the years ahead, that for the first time ever, from the creative phase to construction, breaking ground to opening day, they can consider Fortnite as a part of that, gamifying the guest experience. Whereas with the Disney parks we have now, they're already open. So you kind of have to retrofit and go back to something that's already been built. Not as easy, but if you're looking at that from the beginning, much easier. So take a look at this clip from CNN. Great stuff here.
We made an investment in Epic Games about a year ago or so now, $1.5 billion. And what we're seeing is Gen Alpha particularly is gathering in these spaces to play games, to socialize, to watch. So these communities are forming. And we wanted to be part of that. Think about a Disneyland theme park inside of a virtual environment. And by the way, back and forth, something that you experience in Fortnite, for example, which is part of Epic Games, that experience you have there, you might be able to carry back to a theme park. So we're really pushing hard into the space. And with the new park that we're building here in Abu Dhabi, we've got an opportunity from ground up to think about how games and interactivity cannot be just something you do at home or on your phone, but how it interplays with the actual park.
And
you know what's interesting too about this whole creating a theme park in this digital world? You can almost like beta test these parks or these lands.
Yep.
Right? In the digital world to kind of see how do fans react to this kind of land? Do they like it? Do they not like it? Does it hit? Does it not hit? you can test this stuff before you put the money with the brick and mortar park itself. But go ahead, Seymour. What do you think about that kind of beta test idea?
Yeah, it's almost if you think about it, it's basically data collection and data mining, and you're getting all the data in one area and pushing it to another area. They do this right now. People don't know that in the Disney parks they collect a lot of your data, even though you're physical. They collect the data in there. Some people even consider Disney as big tech with big data, but even though you're in the physical world, they collect all of that. They know that in Disney Plus, they also collect all the data that they know from the TV shows and the movies you watch, and that they put that into the algorithm as well. You can combine all that, and they can see that for advertising and for future prospects within developments of theme parks. Yeah, I can totally see that. You can beta test it within the Disney experience that would happen in the Fortnite, and if it doesn't do well, you could just remove it, because it doesn't cost that much to remove it. You can remove it instantly, fix it, do anything. Maybe there's a feedback you can provide for that, and then if some people like the new thing that you've developed, maybe they produce that in the actual theme parks.
Yeah, absolutely. I
do want to say that he mentioned about people, Gen Alpha especially, building communities and socializing. A lot of Fortnite's huge for that, but also Roblox, and you're starting to see that with companies like Nintendo, and the communities, the connections that we all. And I think this is also a good stepping stone to combat AI, because of these human-led communities cannot be replicated with AI. So when you have all this fans, you show up at D23 and you dress up as your favorite Disney character, AI cannot replicate that. There's no way you can ever do that experience. And because of that, you want to watch something from Disney, on Disney Plus, or you go to the movie theaters, or go to this Disney Fortnite experience, or go to the theme parks. It's the whole thing. And I think that gap will fill in for that.
Yeah, well said. Well said.
Bruce Vaughn, the leader of Walt Disney Imagineering, the man who would actually be overseeing the development of this gamified world that we're headed into, he has said the exact same thing, how Disney parks can impact your experience in Fortnite, and how Fortnite can experience your impact in the Disney parks. When two of Disney's lead executives are saying it now, pay attention. This isn't just going to fizzle out. This will be reality very soon and in the years ahead. In June of 2025, one of the biggest developments from this entire partnership was casually shared as part of a sizzle reel at Epic Games' Unreal Fest. Unreal Fest is a way for Epic to show off what's headed to their consumers with Unreal Engine, everything they're working on. It's like the D23 of Epic Games, basically. And at one of the presentations where they were talking about Unreal Engine 5, they casually revealed that Magic Kingdom and Happily Ever After, the fireworks show, and Star Wars Galaxy's Edge will be a part of this games and entertainment universe. This is something that I picked up on immediately while watching, and to this day, I believe would have never been shared or talked about if I didn't notice it. So again, I'll be your Disney times Fortnite source. Subscribe. Please subscribe. I'm literally begging you to subscribe. But the fact that in summer of 2025, they were far enough along on this project to reveal two icons of Walt Disney World Resort lines up with what Josh had just said about, well, Josh was saying a Disneyland theme park. This is confirming we're going to see icons from Walt Disney World inside this games and entertainment universe too. Maybe where you can visit Magic Kingdom and walk around Magic Kingdom in a digital way, but also experience the nighttime spectaculars. Like, that was very much Happily Ever After's projections in Fortnite, which is crazy. But I don't think it's that crazy. Hear me out, because Disney Live Entertainment has used Unreal Engine for shows at the parks. Last summer, I talked to the team behind The Little Mermaid, a musical adventure that just recently reopened at Disney's Hollywood Studios, and they used Unreal Engine to create all of the digital and visual media in that show. So when Disney's teams are already utilizing Epic's technology in the parks, well, why not just bring that to millions of people online? Again, right in front of our eyes. You just have to pay attention to where we're headed. And that takes us to the recent months. November of 2025, when a few major things happened, but the first one was the Simpsons themed mini season, one of my favorite seasons in Fortnite's history. This season started off with an absolute bang from the short films, literal mini episodes of The Simpsons with the original voice cast, the animation being done by 20th Century Studios,
I want to say something.
and Fortnite characters Simpsonified, if that's...
I'm going to get controversial here.
Uh-oh.
The Simpsons is my favorite IP from Disney.
Is it really? That's interesting, Seymour.
It is. It is. And it was one of my favorite IPs before even Disney bought it. But yeah, it all the way to the 80s, even though I was born in the 90s, right? All the content that they provided they were a hit, and I was all for it. I remember the songs Do the Bartman.
Oh,
and 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 you hear rumors that Michael Jackson co-wrote it. But this is before the internet came in, right? You hear rumors, and then there's an episode of Michael Jackson in there singing "Lisa, It's Your Birthday," and then all this other stuff. But yeah, you see that it was very iconic for me. All that things that happened, right? And then I played the games when they came out. Like, I think the most famous one for me was Simpsons Hit and Run. It was like a GTA version of The Simpsons. I played that 24 hours a day. When I was a kid, I would pretend to be sick and like, I can't go to school. I need to sleep, and then I go play. Usually people were watching Price is Right when they're sick. I was playing The Simpsons Hit and Run. The Simpsons IP is one of my favorite IPs of all time, and yes, more than Family Guy.
Oh, that's interesting. I was going to ask you that. Okay, so you're more of a Simpsons guy, because here's the thing: Family Guy is now I prefer Family Guy, but Family Guy is way more. Family Guy is very risque. Family Guy leans almost more into the category of like a South Park almost, because of the content of their jokes is really kind of crazy, right? Simpsons never gets that wild. Simpsons is probably more family friendly than Family Guy. But yeah. Now, was that one of the things that makes you like Simpsons more? Is it's not as crazy as a Family Guy, or is it just?
It's like Nintendo with me. I grew up with it. I was fond of the content that was being created for that IP. I just simply watched as a child, and I'm still a fan.
There you go. Well,
Even I think grade 3 or 4. Man, I'm getting old. I don't remember the exact date, but I made a speech on The Simpsons, and I sang the same song that Michael Jackson sang, "Lisa, It's Your Birthday." It won. I won it at my school, and I had to do a competition with other people, and I'm like, I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to talk about my love for The Simpsons. What's happening here? And my teacher is pushing me to do this. Like do this, you get an award. I didn't win after that, but thankfully, because I didn't want to go. I don't know. There was nationals. I don't know. It was a speech, but apparently it was good. But yeah, I did it on The Simpsons. And I was ever since I've been a huge fan. Just the whole thing, just the whole aspect of it, right? The jokes, everything in it. I have a friend who's into The Simpsons as well, and he can name every famous quote from The Simpsons, and it just brings me back to all the good times. It's like Nintendo with me.
Yeah, no, well said. And here's the thing too, Seymour. You mentioned that when I asked you why do you like Simpsons, you're like, well, I grew up with it, right? That's why this Fortnite stuff, to kind of come back to the full circle, that's why this Fortnite stuff is so important. Josh Diamara was talking about Gen Alpha, right? They're playing Fortnite. You're interjecting these Disney characters, the Disney IP into this digital world that the younger generation, that's where they're all at. So when you have the Simpsons and Avatar and Star Wars and Marvel and Pixar and Disney Animation and all that stuff in this platform, you are building their nostalgia for these brands, ensuring that this Disney wheelhouse is something that continues for generation after generation after generation. Because when Gen Alpha is older and they're in their 40s and they have kids or something, they're going to be like, yeah, when I was a kid, I used to play this on Fortnite, and that's how I got into it, and I'm so nostalgic for it because of that. That's how it all happens.
Yeah.
That's the flywheel right there, and that's how you stay relevant that's why Disney has been around for so long, because they've kind of mastered this at this point, It's crazy.
Even a word inside of these little clips. They were awesome. Fortnite shared them, Disney shared them. They were on Disney Plus. To the game itself having an actual original map, Fortnite times Springfield. Again, this was only for a month. So the level of detail in Fortnite, the amount of money that they spent, the outfits in the game are so perfect. Literal 1-to-1 recreations of Homer, Krusty, Bart, Lisa, all of the Simpsons characters. It was such a fun season. And I talked earlier about not liking the Star Wars season, but again, how Epic can learn from the reaction and what they can do better. The team in Epic, if any of you are watching this, you absolutely nailed that Simpsons season. Now, my personal theory is that because that season was so successful,
because you were talking about how you can bring in new people to experience an IP.
Right.
The Simpsons was one of those things. And also one that you can bring in the people who are already experienced The Simpsons and bring them both together. Because when I was playing the game, I was just smiling because I saw so many Easter eggs that I understood from all the years of watching The Simpsons. But then if somebody new from Gen Alpha came in and didn't understand it, they could still have a good time and experience that IP.
Right. No, exactly.
Successful, and so many people played it and watched the live event to conclude it, moving into Chapter 7 with Fortnite, where we are now, that once the Disney times Fortnite universe launches, that map will come back, and if players want to play on that Simpsons map, they'll be able to do so in its miniature battle royale inside of the Disney universe, which I think would make sense, kind of giving people a reason to check out the new mode, which is something they're familiar with from the past. But that one was big, but we also had something right after that came out of nowhere that I love.
Now, real quick, off topic a little bit, but on topic as well. Is this the banana that you were at the D23 Expo?
Oh, no. This was a Simpsons-fied version of the banana. The banana I had was black and white, like a black and white, Mickey Mouse back in the day.
Oh, sweet. Okay, cool.
To this day. Shortly after, Disneyland Game Rush launched inside of Fortnite, Disney's first official creative map inside of the game. When Josh Damar would talk about that Disneyland theme park inside of Fortnite with the Abu Dhabi announcement, I wasn't expecting it to happen as a test in 2025, but honestly, it's a very fun map. Now, nobody really plays it anymore, but that doesn't shock me by any means. Fortnite creative maps, they either have a fan base like the Pit and some of these free-for-all maps that have just lived on for years, or they die immediately. It does not shock me that this map died immediately, but again, it was a test to see how do people react to Disney inside of Fortnite. In this case,
if I'm
the
not
original
mistaken,
Disney park. Disney.
We have a video of Mr. Webba playing this.
We do. Our good friend Mr. Webba, he did a playthrough. Check it out on the WebbaVision playlist. Webba is a great friend of ours, and he did a playthrough of the Fortnite Disneyland. Was it map? The map, and it's actually pretty cool. Actually, the Star Wars part of that was pretty dope. But it's interesting. Now in terms of like, because Drew, I want to ask you, Seymour. Drew was saying that this map died out really quick. Like no one really plays it anymore. Are you able to kind of see that? Like when you're playing, you can kind of tell how many people are in that world with you, or how's that?
I actually experienced it and played out as well. Yeah, it wasn't a full on Disney World experience. It was just like chopped up levels of experiences that you play, and that was it. So it's like once you're done, there's nothing new added to it. It wasn't a world to explore. I actually wanted more. Because it brought me to Disneyland, California. Yeah, I could see it, the attractions in the background. I'm like, open the gates. I want to see more. I want to experience that. And it's like, wait, that's what's going to happen in Disney and Fortnite. You're going to experience all of that. But it felt like almost like a teaser trailer of what's to come.
I was going to ask you that if it felt like a teaser / like test. It kind of gave that vibe.
Yeah, but I had fun with playing the little events, but it felt like an event that you do it once and then it's like, okay, I'm done. What's next?
Yeah.
I had fun playing the lightsabers. I had fun with doing the attractions that they had. I had fun, but like I said, it felt like a teaser and I wanted more. And that's a good thing that I wanted more because it makes Disney's future great that if other people want more, and experience that, then I see a bright future of this Disney and Fortnite experience coming.
Absolutely.
Disneyland. When I covered this on Twitter, that was the main place I covered it, got an incredible reaction. There was a lot of excitement around seeing the Disney parks in the game, but I'm not too worried about this map not being a major success now at the time of me posting this video, because it's not meant to be. The reason they did this is to test the waters, actually play with Unreal Engine and recreate these icons like the castle, the Matterhorn, Pixar Pier over at California Adventure in the game, but they did
I
that.
also want to
They
state,
delivered on that.
Yeah.
Some of the Disney park
I'm a Disney newbie when it comes to I don't know much of the Disney attractions in the theme parks, but I didn't care. I had fun playing these.
That's cool. And that says a lot, Seymour. And that's cool. That's why I really like to get your perspective on this theme park stuff, because you are a normie with that, right? You're new to it.
Exactly.
And you bring that, because myself and Mr. Webba and we're all very like entrenched in the theme park stuff, right? Conductor, everybody. Where you have more of a distance to it. And I like that, because you see it through the normie eyes. And we don't get a lot of that on OT55, because a lot of us are so entrenched with this theme park stuff. So that's interesting how you felt like that, where you didn't even really recognize a lot of these attractions or these icons, but you still had a blast kind of exploring. That says a lot.
I knew the IP that was associated with it, but I didn't know the attraction that they were trying to replicate from the park. I just knew I was having a good time. Like when I was playing Star Wars, I just knew it was Star Wars. I'm like, that's all I needed to know, and I'm having a good time. And I believe other people who are not into the Disney parks, who was playing it, they probably had a good time as well. And again, bringing it back to full circle, that can bring in the new audience that are not really familiar with the theme parks, but can bring it into a space where they can experience things from those areas.
Yep, well said.
source music that has never been released before is available in that map. The first ever appearance by Mickey Mouse inside of Fortnite is that map. So I think now it's kind of been forgotten about, but these little milestones mean big things. The fact that Disney put Mickey inside of that map for the first time ever, connected to Disneyland 70th as a whole, is a big thing. So we're going to see, obviously, 100 times that level of investment in quality and permanent offerings later with the games and entertainment universe, but it should not go overlooked that Disney put a miniature version of Disneyland's Esplanade in the game just because they wanted to. They didn't have to do that. And our most recent official big thing that's happened in the game are sidekicks. Sidekicks in Fortnite have been very popular recently. New characters that join your adventure in the game. These are super fun. They run around, they follow you, you can give them a high five, they can emote, you can unlock all sorts of special rewards. And Groot, Baby Groot, was recently added to the game. The first major Disney character as a sidekick before the games and entertainment universe launches. Now, I cannot leak this character that's in development right now, but I know for a fact there is a major classic Disney character coming to the game sooner rather than later that will be an instant bestseller once it happens. So Baby Groot is kind of the premiere debut for Disney sidekicks, alongside Plopper and Itchy from The Simpsons as sidekicks, but like those obviously don't have the pull of Baby Groot by any means. But this is going to be the perfect way for Disney and Epic to bring Disney characters into Fortnite that it wouldn't be appropriate for them to hold a weapon. You know, you're not going to bring Mickey Mouse into Fortnite and allow him to hold an assault rifle or a shotgun by any means. But you could sell Mickey Mouse for $18 or $20 as a sidekick to where he's running around next to you. That's what makes sense. So I've seen a lot of back and forth on how do you incorporate Disney into Fortnite when some of these characters are meant for kids and it's a kids game. But sidekicks are that perfect way to do so. It's that perfect path. It unlocks all of Disney's assets and IPs to come to the game in the future. And Baby Groot is just the first of many. Disney sidekicks, do not sleep on these. It will be a key, a massive part to this entire partnership. Quite honestly, I would go as far as saying that Disney and Epic brought sidekicks to the game simply because of Disney. Disney probably said, we really want to do this, but we don't want Mickey holding an assault rifle. What's your idea? Well, if you bring sidekicks into the game, well, Mickey's not holding the assault rifle, but you're making the same money. You're getting that return on investment. You're making millions. So sidekicks are the future of Disney in Fortnite. And that leads us to my personal speculation, my insights.
I did mention at the beginning of the video somewhere where I mentioned how it was rumored, and I think he's teasing about it. He's not saying it, but I think he's teasing that Stitch will be a sidekick. It was like, I see it on X right now, right? Leaks and rumors that he's going to be part of it. And if what he's saying is true, that this is a big part of Disney, I believe this rumor that he's going to be a big reason. And he's a big IP. He sells a lot of merchandise.
Wow, that's interesting. That was on X. You said you saw that on X today?
Yeah, that it was leaked that Stitch's sidekick is coming. So if he's saying that we have Groot, and he said another major big one coming through, and he's teasing. I think that one that's been teasing is Stitch. I think Stitch is coming, and if, like he's saying, if that's going to be a big part of Disney's universe, where you can have a little sidekick while you're in the Disney, universe, and you have a little Stitch by your side. I mean, that's fun. And,
that's a lot of fun.
And of course, more money for Disney, microtransactions. Shareholders are going to be happy, but the fans are going to be happy too, because you're going to have a little tiny Stitch next to you.
Yeah, exactly. And Stitch is like the perfect sidekick. Hopefully it is him. I love Stitch.
My thoughts, the things that have been going on in my head for 2 years now at the time of me posting this video, but what is the end goal? Why is the leader of Disney Parks and likely Disney's next CEO so bullish on this project? Why is he so invested into it, not only from a personal standpoint, but from a $1.5 billion standpoint? And that comes back to my earlier comment on 1 million players watching that live stream at D23 in 2024. I firmly believe that as all of these new projects open at the Disney parks, it is going to allow for Disney to debut them inside of Fortnite on the same day they open at the parks. For example, right now at Walt Disney World, one of the biggest projects in Disney's history is the Disney Villains Land. I expect by 2029, 2030, whenever this land opens, that on the same day that the Villains Land opens at Magic Kingdom, it will debut inside of Fortnite. That is a golden way for Disney parks to introduce their projects to millions of kids around the world, to where they say, Mom and Dad, look at this awesome place inside the game. Let's go visit it at Walt Disney World. If you get a few extra 1,000 trips booked per year because of Fortnite, you're making millions and millions of dollars because of this persistent universe that's living on. And quite honestly, I think it goes even further than these new projects and trying to introduce it to new audiences, but also things that we've had before, things that maybe don't exist anymore. This is a little exclusive here, and I'm talking about this at the end of the video because I'm more comfortable doing so at the end of the video, but Muppet Vision 3D. Muppet Vision is a beloved attraction within the Disney community. And right before Muppet Vision closed, I can confirm exclusively to all of you that LiDAR scanning was done of the entire theater before it was stripped of everything at Hollywood Studios. Personally, I believe that scanning was done so that Disney can bring Muppet Vision into Fortnite, so that Muppet Vision will have a permanent future inside of the game, to where you're not watching it just on Disney Plus or YouTube or through a VR headset, but you can launch Fortnite, maybe in the future, maybe even play as a Muppet inside of this universe and walk into the theater and watch Muppet Vision 3D with new versions built in Unreal Engine of the animatronics like the Penguin Band, Statler and Waldorf, the Swedish Chef, and allow Jim Henson's final project to live inside of Fortnite. The fact that those scans are done and that this theater exists in a digital way, why not bring it to Fortnite? So I'm not confirming that by any means, but that's my personal speculation of one of many ways that Muppet Vision could come back in the future. And you could go even further than that. Think about attractions that have existed at the parks before that people love. Let's say Horizons over at Epcot. To this day, I see people talking about Horizons all the time. So why not bring Horizons back into Fortnite as not only a way for your diehard fans to experience the attraction in a very real way, but also to introduce the history of Disney parks to the current generation of kids playing Fortnite. It's a perfect win between your diehard fans and a business perspective. And I think that's where we are headed. Yes, you're going to be able to create all the games that you want to and interact with the beloved characters, but I think the future of Disney parks will be heavily impacted by Fortnite. And that's where we are headed. So
this is a fantastic video, by the way, that Drew did. I want to give a huge shout out to Drew. I never even considered that, Seymour, but Muppet Vision is a beloved attraction by so many park fans. It was Jim Henson's last piece of work. It's very, very special, but it was getting very outdated, right? So Disney had to come up with this decision. Like, do we keep an outdated thing forever? You know, which at the end of the day kind of looks bad. It's kind of a bad show after a while when you have a really outdated, you know, 3D show. You got to evolve your parks. They got rid of it. They're replacing it with the Monsters Inc. land. But if it can live on in digital world, like a Fortnite, that's a brilliant way of sort of allowing Jim Henson's last work to live on. Like he was saying, you can be in the theater, like as a Muppet. I love that idea. And even when he was talking about like Horizons, you can do like Horizons, you can do all kinds of yesteryear attractions, you know, like the Skyway buckets or the People Mover at Disneyland or the Rocket Rods or countless attractions that are long gone, but they can live in this digital realm. It's a game changer. I mean, that right there, that the finale to this video, Drew kind of blew my mind with that, because I think that is what they're going to do. And I don't know what the LiDAR, he says that the whole theater was LiDAR scanned. Is that like a framework to
Almost like it's almost like 3D mapping in a way, using lights. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And honestly, I mean, I don't think, and look, like you said, nothing's confirmed, but the fact that they did scan it though tells me they're really, really considering it, and they're keeping it in their back pocket at the very least. They didn't do that for no reason. There's obviously some plans out there to do something with it. I absolutely love that. But that's the end of the video. But Drew, I want to get, again, a huge shout out to Drew. Seymour, one of these days, we got to get Drew on OG55 and talk Fortnite.
Yeah.
Because I think you and him would get along great. You guys are both very passionate about this stuff. And I think that would be a really, really fun show, you know?
Yeah. When I first heard about him doing this video, I think on your video, when you were talking about the Muppets, I'm just like, yes, he's the perfect guy to talk about it. And I was excited. And it's like, when that video comes out, I need to react to it. And here we are, full circle, reacting to it. But apparently there's a part 2. So this is only part 1. There's so much more you can deep dive into it. But I'm excited for it.
Yeah, no, me too. And hey, we reacted to part 1. So you know what that means, Seymour. We got to do part 2 when it drops. We will do part 2 for sure.
Yeah,
you know?
And who knows? By then, we might have a new CEO for Disney.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, I mean, a little programming note. We do have that earnings call coming up pretty soon. Seymour and I, actually, we have a really stacked show for that, right? We have you, myself, Theme Park Philosophy, Jose is confirmed, as well as Jared from Capture the Magic. So big show. Ooh. And yeah, it's gonna be a juicy one, because there are so much. I mean, when this news drops, it's gonna be, I don't know. We're probably gonna do countless videos on it, because there's just so much to dive into, but we'll see. It's looking like it's gonna be Josh, but you know, Disney has thrown us zingers and surprises in the past, so we'll see how it shakes out. But hey, Seymour, I want to thank you for having me on the Duck Pond today. It was a fun time, dude.
Yeah, thank you for coming on and talking about Epic and the Disney universe in the future. I just want to say a huge thanks to Disney Drew, the Disney dude. Drew, the Disney dude. There's a tongue twister. Yes, I want to say a huge thanks to him, and thank you for that video. I loved it. I loved reacting to it. Everything about it. I'm a huge fan. And so, yes, huge thanks to you also, OG55, for bringing that Disney expertise to the table tonight. And OG55, one last time for the flock. Where can they keep up with you?
Yeah, I know. Seymour, love you, man. I love being on the Duck Pond. Thank you so much for having me, talking shop, reacting to Drew the Disney Dudes video. Really, really great time. You can find me right here on YouTube at Orange Grove 55, talking theme park, studio, corporate. We're going to be doing a lot of corporate videos next week or two. We're going to get a new CEO at Disney. It's going to be wild. So a lot of stuff on the horizon. You can also find me on X, Orange Grove 55. You can also find me on Instagram, Orange Grove 55. And Mr. Seymour Duck, you are an amazing host, as always. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please like, subscribe, and quack that bell for notifications. I'm Mr. Seymour Duck, and as always, you're always a duck at the Duck Pond.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for watching OG55. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and become a member today.